Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to all in the sanctuary and to everyone in our virtual congregation. Whew, some weeks you just really feel like you need Shabbat. This is one of those weeks. So let's take a moment, release the past week. Welcome in that space, that holiness, that special time that is Shabbat. We formally do that by the lighting of the Shabbat candles, and we welcome Deb Seidman to the Bima to help us do that. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של Shabbat.
Amen, amen. We turn to Kabbalat Shabbat, to receiving Shabbat. We turn to page 12. Lechu neranana. Come, sing with us.
Lechu neranana l'Adonai, nariah litzor yishenu. Lechu neranana l'Adonai, nariah litzor yishenu. Nekadma fanav בתודה בזמירות נריע לו. לכו נרננה לאדוני, נריע לצור אישנו. נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות נריע לו. כי אל גדול אדוני ומלך גדול, הכל אלוהים אשר בידו מחקרי ארץ וטופות הרים לו. ילאי ללאי 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 שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום, ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום, ישועתו. השירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ. לה 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 la 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 la, la 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 la, 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 la 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 la, la la la. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירם הים ומלוא ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירם הים ומלוא ימי מי מי לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו תפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונכה כי מכל הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה ומשמע תחילה עליך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נקלט עליך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת לקבלה בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לילה 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 עליך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת
I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted already. Take a minute, say Shabbat Shalom to each other, greet each other online, enjoy it.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. עלי עשור עלי נבל עלי היגיון בכינור, כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך במעשה ידיך הרנן הרנן. טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני. מה גדלו מעשיך מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. לי 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 מה גדלו מעשיך לי 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 מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. לי 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 מה גדלו מעשיך לי 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 לי. Lie, 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 together. Ma gadlu, מעשיך lie, 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 lie. מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
You know when a cell phone rings in a sanctuary, that's a good sign. It's starting to feel like a real sanctuary again. Last week, for those of you that were here or that listened, you know I spoke about the terrible conflict that raged for the past 11 days. As of this moment, we've reached a ceasefire. Tonight, I want to talk about a related issue, anti-Semitism here at home. I am so sad about it. I am so angry about it. And I am not at all surprised by it. From London to Paris to our beloved New York, there's been an uptick in anti-Semitic acts of, I don't know, 500% this week. Jews physically attacked, eating dinner outside, swastikas spray painted on college campuses, a barrage of anti-Jewish rhetoric online, day schools shielded behind counterterrorism units, synagogues with greater police presence, chants of death to Jews in our own city. A dreadful week of anti-Semitism and a scary one. A few thoughts on anti-Semitism. To begin with a story, A woman I know was born in Germany in 1934. As a baby in Europe, her picture was plastered on popular magazines and even postcards. She was famous. And the headline over her picture read, "The Perfect Aryan Baby." Good, Nellie. She was the literal face of Nazi propaganda, and of course, she is Jewish. She survived the Shoah, fled to South America, and eventually ended up in the United States and became a successful chemist and a New Yorker. The perfect Aryan baby is a Jew. What's the point? Anti-Semitism doesn't make sense. There is no justification for anti-Semitism ever. Don't be pressured into thinking anti-Semitism ever makes sense in any instance. It never has, and it never will. A few weeks ago in the Bronx, a man was arrested for throwing stones at several synagogues. My sister goes to one of them. He was quickly released from prison, by the way, because of new bail reform laws. A few weeks before that, the French government opted not to prosecute the murderer of Sarah Halimi, a 65-year-old woman who was brutally beaten and thrown to death from her own apartment as her killer chanted anti-Semitic slogans at her. Last fall at the high holidays, you may recall I gave a sermon about anti-Semitism, calling it the worst it's ever been in my lifetime then. And the worst it's ever been in your lifetime. And anti-Semitism has been back, and it is back. It's worsened and exacerbated when there is a conflict in Israel, but let me state clearly again, there is no justification for anti-Semitism, ever. Anti-Semitism is as wrong as racism. It is as detestable as homophobia. It is a dangerous, depressing, and sometimes deadly trend. And yet, a statistical study reveals that half of Americans ages 18 to 29 don't know what the word anti-Semitism means. We all need to talk about it more. So let's start right now. First, a definition. The main idea behind anti-Semitism is that whatever the problem is in a given culture, Jews are the reason behind the problem. It's a unifying theory of everything. No matter what the problem is, at any given time, in any given place, anti-Semitism posits that Jews are the cause. Under communism, the far left, Jews were sometimes considered shameless capitalists. Under Nazism, the far right, where Nazis were obsessed with racial purity, Jews were accused of course, being the race contaminators. During the bubonic plague, Jews were accused of causing the plagues by poisoning the wells. During the medieval period in Spain, when Christians were forbidden by the church to lend money, Jews were accused of controlling the economy. Anti-Semitism is that. Jews are the source of the problem, the root of the evil. It doesn't really matter what the problem is. We are the worst, the most racist, the least humane, whatever the worst thing you can be in a given society, that's the Jews. Blaming the Jews solely for the ills of the day leads to statements like this. If only the Jews would, fill in the blank, then the problem would be solved. If only Jews would stop poisoning the wells, the plague would disappear. If only Jews would stop controlling the banks, my financial problems would be solved. If only Jews stopped existing, my race would be pure. That is the definition of anti-Semitism. Take a societal problem, blame it on the Jewish people and the Jewish people alone. Solve your problems by exiling the Jews, making laws against us, shaming us, or worst of all, through murder. And yet so many of us still try to use logic to understand anti-Semitism. Something about it has to make sense, right? There must be some truth to these ideas. Sometimes we tell ourselves, maybe I did something wrong, or maybe I did something not right enough. Maybe I am part of the problem. And we do that because we are logical. But anti-Semitism is the opposite of logic. It's unwinnable, nonsensical, and contradictory. Think about the whiplash that we've experienced. Once, not that long ago, anti-Semitism made us mark ourselves to be identified, humiliate us with the yellow star sewn onto our clothes. Now, anti-Semitism is trying to force us to go unmarked. Don't wear that kippah on the streets of Paris or Brussels or Brooklyn. You could be attacked, which of course happened this week. So which is it? Another example. Once we were historically hated for being a nationless nation, a wandering people with no home. Just get the Jews out of Europe and all our problems will be solved. But now, Jewish nationhood is often portrayed as the one and only source of all evil. If only Israel would blank, then all the problems of the Middle East would be solved. I am not diminishing Israel's role in the conflict itself. Of course, like all countries, Israel is responsible for itself and how it acts. But I am deeply suspicious of the notion that if Israel simply disappeared, that the Middle East problems would all be solved. It is a sickness. Jews are not the source of all evil in the world. It's an old idea that's found a troublingly palatable new frame, and I'm tired of it. But logic and anti-Semitism don't coexist. I want to talk about something else that you may not be thinking about, which is Holocaust denial. Holocaust denial is one of the core modern expressions of anti-Semitism, and there's a spectrum of denial. From outright denial that the greatest crime against humanity was committed, to diminishing the scope of the Shoah, to de-Judaizing the Holocaust, and so on and so on. Tonight I need to wonder, whatever happened to the Holocaust in public discourse? Only a few weeks ago it was Yom HaShoah. I didn't see #NeverAgain trend on social media. I didn't see mainstream news really cover it at all, to be honest. Where did the Holocaust go in our collective conversation? It's largely not covered in schools. Only 16 states in this country mandate Holocaust education. Most people in my generation cannot name a single concentration camp. Not one. Not Buchenwald, not Auschwitz, not Sobibor, not Theresienstadt, not Dachau. Nothing. And I noticed with great concern that nowhere in the coverage of this horrific fighting in Israel and Gaza have I seen the Holocaust mentioned. The Holocaust is not the reason for the fighting, nor is it a justification for the fighting at all. But it is a critical piece of historical context, especially when most of the world does not even know that it happened in the scope and significance that it did. I feel as if someone in an office somewhere took a pencil and gently erased Jewish history from the dialogue. Nope, can't talk about that anymore. Not relevant. But just be warned. If the Holocaust is not presented as a devastating and essential fact of Jewish history, another narrative will come in and replace it. I think in our country, not only do we neglect to talk about the Holocaust, we frequently use it to talk about ourselves. And that is, in its own subtle, maybe sometimes accidental way, contributes to Holocaust denial. A star of a Star Wars spin-off movie called The Mandalorian used a violent image of a Jewish woman being chased in her underwear by young Nazi boys to talk about her republicanism. It's hard to be a Republican in the United States right now, I guess. A different actor from The Mandalorian, and I don't know what it is with this movie, compared Jewish prisoners in a concentration camp to children on the Mexican-American border. Vegetarians coined the term Holocaust on a plate to serve their cause. The Holocaust is not a vehicle. It is a mass murder. It is why the Jewish population is so minuscule. It is why so many Jews are in Israel. It is one of the reasons why Jews must never cede the right to have one Jewish country. Diminishing the Holocaust, analogizing it for personal gain, lays the groundwork for denial. Erasing Jewish history is a threat to the Jews. I don't think it should be the centerpiece of this discussion about today's conflict, but I note with great concern that a genocide did not even become a footnote in that conversation. Detaching Jews from Jewish history is dangerous. So what do we need to fight anti-Semitism? All the things every other minority group needs. We need education within and beyond the Jewish world. We need allyship within and beyond the Jewish world. We need representation. We need self-reflection. We need nuance and knowledge, not infographics, hysterics, and hashtags. We all need to stand up and call out anti-Semitism when we see it. I know it's scary. I know it's unpleasant. But I also know we can each be an upstander for our people. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. May the maker of peace grant peace to us and to all humankind. Shabbat shalom. We rise for the Baruch Hu, page 28.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. B'chokhmah poteach she'arim u'bitvuna meshane itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'misader et ha'kohavim b'mishmarotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or.
Ma'avir yom u'mevi layla, u'mavdil ben yom u'ben layla. Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, Tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv aravim. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha avta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbeinu v'kumenu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha. אהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמו ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. We join together in our song of redemption, our song of great understanding and freedom, Mi Chamocha. Page 40. Mi Chamocha, Elim Adonai. Mi Chamocha, Nedar B'Kodesh, Nora Tehilot, Oseh Feleh, Nora Tehilot, Oseh Feleh, Oseh Feleh. Mi Chamocha, Mi Chamocha, Elim Adonai. Mi Chamocha, Nedar B'Kodesh, Nora Tehilot, Oseh Feleh, Nora Tehilot, Oseh Feleh, Oseh Feleh, Malchut v'chorovu banecha. הים לפני משה, זלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, לעולם ועד. מי כמוך אלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, עושה פלא, נורא תהילות, עושה פלא, עושה ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלום יד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Ashkivenu, L'Shachaim. Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Ashkivenu, L'Shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, Haporei Sukkot Shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Shomeru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat lo asut et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
We turn to the Amidah, page 46, and we rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chaste Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל, אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומגן מתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו ישנה עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue with silent prayer.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Tasim Leolam. Ki ata umelech Adon lechol hashalom, lechol hashalom. Ki ata umelech Adon lechol hashalom, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Tasim Leolam, Baruch atah Adonai, המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
We turn now to those who are in need of healing, healing of the body, the mind, the spirit. We offer our prayers for Frida Spivak, Jana Cox, Karen Gouchard, Susan Agrest, Jim, Richard, Sharon, Bobby, Denise Gorham, Mary Corrigan, Fran Gorham, Harriet Zimmer, Bob Zimmer, Bonita I'm sorry, Wendy, I'm going to try. Bonita Rutiliano, Bob Zimmer, Janet Richardson, Paul Kaplan, Michael Simon, Janet Schuldiner, Sarah Dreyfus, Gladys Schuker, Theodore Williamson, Marion Bartholomew, Bruce Levinson, Eileen, Derek, Julie Morgan, Randy Sobelman, Martha Steinman, Norma Pomerantz, and Baby Bell, Joanne Bernstein Cohen, Amy Jake Jacobson. Are there additional names at this time? Mishaberach Avotenu ve'imotenu, Avraham, Yitzhak, ve'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, ve'Leah, Hu Yivarech et HaCholim. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And together we say, Amen.
Mekor Abracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor abracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Amen, amen. From sorrow to joy, we turn now to smachot, happy news. Does anyone have something happy that they would like to share with us? A birthday, an anniversary, something wonderful? We are here together. It is Shabbat. There is a ceasefire. These are good things. We turn to Aleinu on page 282, and we rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כאן, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
As we approach Kaddish, we think of those who are gathered with us through the blessings of memory. We mourn the recent passing of Bernice Shore, Dan Francescan, Robert Carr, Jack Milstein, Marilyn Berliner, Trudy Owett, Elliot Levine, Joanne Raskus, Reina Ragonetti, Jean Abrams, Jerry Horwitz, Barnett Berliner, Dorothea Francescan, Susan Brown, Joyce Wallace, Joan Holland, Lillian Stein, Stanley Rennick, Raya Yashina, Sandra Engelson, Alice Chernick. We observe the yahrzeits of Stephen Banner, Hannah Billette, Nicholas Klein, Irving Rennert, and Norman Shear. We also add David Schlinger and Ilsa, if you could retype the name, it's blocked right now by a railing. I will add that. Does anyone in the sanctuary have an additional name to share for Kaddish? Curtis Barron. We turn to page 294 and we rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah baruchu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen.
Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, ve'imru, ve'imru,
amen. Please be seated as we welcome our co-president, Fred Bash, to the bima for some announcements. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Welcome to everybody in the sanctuary, all of you out there. Special welcome to my father. I do talk to him other than this, but it is nice. A couple of announcements. The first, May 26, 7:30 p.m., congregational meeting. That's a virtual meeting, but you actually need to attend, even if you're not all here together. And if for any reason, and I mean even remotely, you think you can't make it, please get a proxy and send it in. And it's not very hard. You just need to send an email to Sandy, and she will send you a proxy. It's very important that we have an official number of attendees for the congregational meeting. June 11th at 6 p.m. It says a farewell service for Cantor Bach, but I'd like to call it something else. Thank you, honoring. Farewell is too much for me. That's outside here, so please put that on your calendar and attend in person. June 16th at 7 p.m. is our fundraiser. There's been lots of announcements. There will be more. This isn't the only time you will hear about it, but it's not too early to give, so please consider giving. And the Soup Kitchen's looking for volunteers. That's every Saturday from 10 to noon, and you can email Sandy about that. And congrats to Emerson Geller and her family. B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. We turn now to Kiddush and Motzi. Okay, if you're at home, this is a chance to raise your cup with us and say the blessings.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen.
Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, המוציא לחם מן הארץ. אמן.
Shabbat Shalom, B'tei Avon.
Shalom.
We close with words of blessing that appear in Torah this very weekend. What a parasha. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Yehei ratzon.
May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
Yehei ratzon.
May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Yehei ratzon.
May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace.
Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Shalom. Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam. Shalom. Salam. Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam. Shalom. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Shalom. Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam. Shalom. Salam. Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam. Shalom. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.